Hello and welcome to Lauren's English Corner. In today's lesson, we're going to look at the future tense. We're going to look at the differences between going to and will. And we'll look at examples of when to use going to and when to use will. So first, let's look at the patterns. First, we'll look at the pattern for going to. You start with subject, for example, I, she, he, we, they, or a name, plus am, is, or are, plus going to, and then plus the verb in the infinitive, the doing word. For example, I'm going to visit my friend tomorrow. I'm going to visit my friend tomorrow. And the pattern for will is subject, again, I, we, she, he, or a name, plus will, plus the infinitive of the verb. So for example, I will finish my painting tomorrow. I will finish my painting tomorrow. Okay, so that's the patterns. Now let's talk about how and when to use these patterns. The first example we'll look at is when talking about plans. If you have already decided what you're going to do, then we use going to. So for example, I could say this evening, I'm going to read a book before bed. So this evening I'm going to read a book before bed. Or Tom is going to watch the football tonight. Tom is going to watch the football tonight. Tomorrow the children are going to visit their grandparents. Tomorrow the children are going to visit their grandparents. So if something is for definite, maybe it's in our diary, then we can use the present continuous. For example, I'm having a party on Saturday, but we will cover that in another lesson. So we're just talking about when we've made a plan, we've already decided what we're going to do. We would use going to. Now, you would only use will if you were not sure of what you plan to do. Like, I think I'll go to the park tomorrow. Or maybe she'll come to the party. She's not sure. I think I'll go to the park tomorrow. Or maybe she'll come to the party. She's not sure. So this includes if we've decided to do something at the moment of speaking. For example, oh, I'm so tired. I think I'll go and have a lie down. Or you're ordering in a restaurant and as you decide, you're looking at the menu and you're deciding. So as you decide what you want, you say, I think I'll have the steak. I think I'll have the steak. Imagine this scenario. A friend rings you and says, I need a lift to the airport. So at that moment, you decide to take them and you say, I'll take you, don't worry. So you decide then and there, I'll take you, don't worry. Then later that day, someone asks you, what are you doing tomorrow? Well, now it's already decided. You've told your friend that you're going to take her. So you say, I'm going to take Sarah to the airport. Or I'm taking Sarah to the airport. We also use will for making offers. Will you marry me? I'll help you with that. The phone rings or someone knocks at the door and you say, I'll get it or I'll get that. In all these examples, I've used I'll instead of I will. This is because in English we often shorten words by adding them together. We call it contractions. So it's very rare to hear someone say, I will, or she will. You will most likely hear I'll, she'll, they'll, for example. As well as offers, we also use will for promises. What's your secret? I promise I won't tell anyone. Won't is the negative of will not. Can you lend me £20? I'll pay you back tomorrow. So I'm making a promise. I promise I'll pay you back tomorrow. I will. Now, the last area we'll look at is making predictions about the future. We use will when we are making guesses, what we think might happen. For example, I think scientists will invent flying cars. I think scientists will invent flying cars. However, we use going to if we are more sure about something. Maybe because there is evidence that we can see what is going to happen. For example, you see grey clouds, so you say, it looks like it's going to rain. It looks like it's going to rain. Or someone is holding too many books and they can't see ahead of themselves. You might say, she's going to walk into the door. She's going to walk into the door. You can see the evidence. It's quite clear what's going to happen. Imagine you have a friend who is taking a driving test and you may say, I'm sure she'll pass, as this is based on your opinion. I'm sure she'll pass, she will pass. But you could also be right in saying, I know she's going to pass. I know she's going to pass. As maybe you're basing it on the evidence that you've seen her driving. You know that she's a good driver, or that you've seen her putting a lot of effort into her lessons. So you could say, she's going to pass. The best way to remember it though is if you're sure of something, use going to. But if you're not, and maybe you're just guessing, use will. If you're a teacher and want some good activities to use for practicing using will and going to, one example could be to get your students to make predictions about the future. What do you think the world will be like in 2050? This can be done as a group discussion or as a piece of writing. Another example is to get your learners to write 6 sentences, 3 things that they know they are going to do next week and 3 things that they think they will do, to show the difference between plans that are certain, going to, and plans that are uncertain, may happen, will. Another example activity could be to show some pictures of people about to do something and get them to guess what they are going to do. For example, someone in a towel in their bathroom. The students will say he's going to have a shower. You could also have the start to a few sentences of promises and offers and get the students to complete the sentences using will. For example, it's dark in here. They would need to put, shall I turn on the light? Or, I'm going on holiday. Don't worry, I ... The answer being, won't forget to send you a postcard. See, a promise could be, you can use a will or won't. I will do something, or I won't do something. I promise I won't forget, or I won't do it again. You'll notice in that example of switching on the light, I used the word shall. Shall I turn on the light? This is another modal verb that's used for offering to do something, for making offers, like will. But it's less and less used now in modern English. Shall I open the window, or shall I switch off the light, often has been replaced with would you like me to, or do you want me to open the window? Although it is still a lot quicker and simpler to just say shall I. I have some videos on modal verbs which you can watch to learn more about these examples. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe, and see you next time on Lauren's English Corner.